Hey, it's Wesley here, and welcome to another episode of Follow-Up Genius. Today, I'm going to be talking about scripts. Yes, these are the scripts you're supposed to be using when you call people or get on the phone or maybe send a text or an email, things like that. And why a lot of scripts kind of suck and what you could do to fix them up, especially if you're having trouble getting people to, well, A, talk to you further, answer their phones, return your calls, voicemails, texts, all that stuff. If you're having trouble with any of that, then this episode's for you.
Welcome to the Follow-Up Genius Show, a show dedicated to helping real estate agents find their fortune in follow-up by creating stronger relationships, generating more referrals, and converting more leads. Hosted by Wesley Rocha, founder and CEO of LinkU, and Stephen Groders, real estate entrepreneur and high-performance coach. Follow us at followupgenius.net.
Hey, it's Wesley here, and again, I'm by myself with no co-host, Steven, and I'm stuck here at home, not in the studio this time, to record this episode, and you'll never believe what happened and why, I'm here without Steven, and it's because I forgot again. But look, when you commit, if you're going to create the video content or any kind of content, you got to stay on schedule, and you got to plan better. What I tend to do, and maybe you do this too, is when you're working on a very important project, I kind of just I almost like everything else goes away and I just focus on that one thing. I don't even look at my to-do list or anything like that. So that's how this stuff happens. But I will try to do better and making sure to record episodes of Follow-Up Genius. But either way, this episode's actually going to be, I think, pretty cool because this is something I see a lot of people having struggle with. And that is when it comes to mostly phone calls, when they're getting on the phone, whether they're talking to a lead, an old lead, even a past client, or some people even cold calling or following up on lead lists that they get, like expired listings and stuff like that. And what I see a lot of agents doing, or a lot of business owners, or just anyone really, salespeople, they get on the phone and they don't really have a plan and they don't really have a script. They usually wing it most of the time. And that is literally like the worst thing you can do. And so you'll try and wing it. It won't go so great. You get on the next call, you'll wing it again, maybe try and change up something, and you just consistently keep doing this. And maybe if you call enough people, you might actually get some results. However, what usually happens is by a few calls into this, you're feeling like this doesn't work and I'm going to stop doing this completely. But that's not the case. It's really just poor planning. That's all it is. So what you really want to do is have a plan. Now, there's plenty of scripts out there online. I may, for fun, just go search for some online while we're doing this episode, but I did a little before, and it's kind of, I feel like a lot of scripts out there are just kind of outdated, and because they're outdated, they've been used by agents, or they've been used by people in that industry or whatever over and over and over again. And so that buyer or that prospect or lead, they've already heard that story. They've heard that they've heard that thing over and over again, and it just doesn't work anymore. So what you have to do is you could still use a lot of these scripts, but you just have to throw a little bit of creativity in there and a little bit flair. So the first thing, absolutely, is you do need a script. Do not wing it. That is like the worst thing you could do. Even if you just write down a little bit of a little paragraph or a couple opening lines, you need a script, at least an opener. That's what I would call it. You need an opener. So that is going to be probably 80 to 90% of your success is going to be that opener. And even more is going to be that opening line. The opening line is everything. Once you have the opening line, that leads into the next part. And then from there, you kind of open the conversation, so you're actually talking to them, and now you're able to go off script at that point and just use your knowledge. Now, should you have an outline and a script for most sales calls? Yeah, probably, but I know that a lot of you aren't going to do that, so we're going to not talk about that. I just want to talk about how you open up those conversations with those leads, with those past clients, with, whatever you're following up with, okay? Okay, second is when it comes to calling your past clients, people who know you, you should still have a script, but it might be really short. And you really just need a really nice opening. And the thing is, it's really easy. This is probably the easiest one you're going to do because it just has to be personal. What you don't want to do, and this is whether you do by email, text message, or phone. What you don't want to do is go at that person with, "Hey, Bob, it's Wesley, and I just wanted to follow up to see how things were going. By the way, do you know anyone looking to buy this service or that product?" ? Like, that is literally probably the worst way to follow up with a past client. So you don't want to do that. What you're going to want to do is literally just follow up because you care. That conversation, that call, that text, whatever, should come from a caring place. So you're just going to open up and say, "Hey, Bob, it's Wesley. I'm just texting you or emailing you or calling you just to see how you and your family are doing. I know maybe it's been a while since we talked, and that's my fault. Just been so busy and caught up. I'd love to spend a few minutes and catch up when you have some time." That's it. You're not asking for anything. That is, that it's not where you want to go. So something like that could be a great open. And again, that works for your texts, your emails, and your phone calls, including your voicemails. So you definitely still want to use a voicemail because if you're calling, you don't leave a voicemail, you're not making that touch, right? So you're not going to get credit for that. Now, when it comes to calling, let's say, older leads or a lead, it could be even a new lead. Let's start with that. If you're calling a new lead, what you want to do is make sure that opening line sets you apart from everyone else, if possible. So, some things are just pretty obvious. If they're looking at a listing, then your opening line could be simply, "Hey, noticed you were interested in this listing," or "You're looking on a listing online," or whatever that might be. "And I'd love to schedule a showing would you like to schedule a showing, or are you just looking?" Something like that. And that's just going right out and letting them know they could see the house. The reason I like that is so simple is because other agents with their, like if you're in real estate, what other agents are going to do is they're going to call, if they call, and then they're going to ask, "Hey, are you pre-approved?" But by you putting out there, "Hey, you want to go schedule a time to view this listing?" They're thinking, "Wow, I can actually go see this listing today or tomorrow right away." That's the key. A lot of people think, look, you've think about it. When you go out to buy something, it could be like I was going to buy this iPad because I needed something. I have no Apple device. I know that's probably weird to a lot of you, but I have no Apple device myself. My family does, and I needed one for our developer account and some other stuff that requires Apple device for my Apple ID. So I was like, okay, well, I should get an iPad. And so I started looking around at iPads. And once I made the decision that I wanted to buy an iPad, I kind of wanted the iPad like right now. Like I was like, how can I get it today or get Amazon Prime one day and all that? And a lot of them were like 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away and stuff like that. And I ended up just ordering it through like my phone provider because with them, they would send it next day. So it's going to get here today, actually. So the same thing with homes or with whatever product or service you're selling. If they make that decision they want to buy, well, now the faster you could like get in there and swoop in while they're in that mode, the better. So yes, I know it's kind of weird. Like they just started looking and now they want to see the house today. And I'm sure you get that a lot. Can we see it today? You're like, well, I got stuff to do. But if you can get them into that house as soon as possible to view it, the better chance you're going to have of getting them as a client. Or if you're offering a service, the sooner you can get out there and give a quote, the sooner you can get out there and deliver the product, whatever the service or product is that you're offering. So that's huge. And that's why that script particularly works for something they're buying. Now, if it's another type of lead, or maybe you're following up on an older lead, what you may want, and the other thing too to throw on that is, I feel like if you could throw another little twist or something unique about you into that script or into that opener somewhere, that can also make it just a bit stronger. So an example might be, I like to get you in, if you're interested in looking at this product today or this quote, I don't really get to go with like promotion because I feel like people are kind of onto that, like, oh, there's this promotion suddenly. But if you can create some kind of urgency, if you can create some kind of uniqueness, to you, especially right now with kind of the COVID thing, maybe your uniqueness is, something happened, an event, they just reopened this, or this policy has recently changed, or something like that. And now I'm able to do this, or here's how I'm handling being, I guess sanitizing or being safe while you're doing the quote or looking at the products or whatever. Or even you can do a virtual meeting. That's something too. That's a way to deliver something to them right away. If you could do a virtual, maybe you do a virtual quote, a virtual showing, being at if you're a real estate agent, at the home or whatever it might be. Now, finally, when it comes to like older leads, or if you're calling like, I hear a lot of agents, they have trouble calling like expired listings and things like that. So maybe you have something similar as a list you get and you follow up, or you try and call these people. It's almost like cold calling. It really is cold calling because they haven't heard from you before. So something like that, or even if it is an older lead, they may not remember you. So you really need a killer opening line. Now, one thing I think is very important is using an opening line that's going to get their attention, but also, like if it is an older lead, you want to remind them of like how you got their information, right? Because sometimes they're like, well, how'd you get my information? Now, if they already kind of know that, then fine. But I like to put that in the opener somewhere so they don't feel like I'm lying to them. And the more specific you can be, like if you can say like on this date or in this time or something like that, that's fine. If you're doing something more automated, that's okay to say recently or a year ago or a month ago. You do? I'm going to help my kid real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. That's working at home for you. So the other thing with this script is I like the opening. Also, you would keep in mind is you just want to kind of you want to give a kind of a tease. Like Chet Holmes used to say, all sizzle, no steak, right? So a lot of times I feel like people will give everything up front. Like, hi, I'm calling because of this and that, and blah, 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 and they'll go on and give away the whole, like anything that they had to give. And that allows the prospect to essentially make a decision too quickly and like shut you down. So what I recommend doing is, again, having that opening hook, right? It's not going to be, hi, Bob, this is Wesley, and I'm just calling to touch base on a form you submitted a month ago or last week or whatever. Like that's probably the most generic thing you can say, right? Because then they're automatically, remember, they have their walls up. So if their walls up, they're going to be like, no, I don't really want to talk to you right now. So the idea of the opening line is, think of these things. All sizzle, no steak. All right. So if you're giving too much up front, B, it's a hook. You gotta hook them in. All right, so that's important. So one example might be, let's say you have a lead. I'll use real estate example because we have a lot of real estate agents we work with, and they submitted a home value request. So what you would do is normally you call and say, hi, Bob, this is Wesley. I saw that you submitted a home value request on the website and wanted to know, were you interested in selling your home or what was going on, And that, I guess, could work, but I would recommend doing something just a little bit different, a little bit something to kind of like pique their interest. And also not come from a sales position. That's the other thing you want to do is you want to lower that wall, because we all tend to call and just come off so salesy. It's just, that's the thing. Like when you look at your script, does it sound salesy? Would it be salesy if someone was doing it to you? So you want to do something with a little less salesy feel, I guess. So for example, you might say, hey, Bob, this is Wesley, and I just saw your home request come in and noticed that it doesn't look actually accurate. There's a couple things missing, and I wanted to ask you just a couple questions to make sure you get the most accurate value. Something like that. It piques the interest because it's telling them, oh, the number I got isn't accurate. So now they can't rely on that information anymore. Now they need you. You see what I'm saying? Now, are you going to tell them on the phone? Well, the value I have based on this is actually this. It's $400,000, not $329 like the thing told you. That's giving away the steak. That's giving away everything. Remember, all sizzle, no steak. So what you want to do is really draw that curiosity, and then maybe set the appointment. Say, well, I got to run a couple numbers. Maybe, what do you see? I could tell you this. It's going to be higher than what you saw there. Do you have time maybe to talk tomorrow? I can deliver it to you or whatever. Oh, no. Okay, well, maybe get their email address. Well, can I just text it to you? A lot of people, if you just ask, instead of asking to call, ask to text. So many more people are going to be okay with you texting than you calling. Okay? It's just more convenient for them. So you should be doing that for everyone. Is it okay if I call you? Well, I'm going to be busy. Well, is it okay if I text you? Yeah, that's okay to text me. Okay, great. What's the best number to text you at? Is it this one? Blah, 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 etc. And then you text them and you open the conversation from there. Make sense? So I can go like way deeper on all this stuff, but we only have a few minutes in these episodes. Maybe in a further one, I could kind of break that down. But right now, I just want to get you thinking about being more creative, thinking about the hook, thinking about all, sizzle, no steak, and just changing up, making yourself stand apart from what other people are, how they're following up. Now, finally, I'm going to end with let's say it's kind of like the cold lead. Let's say in agents, there's expired listings for your business, your service, your product. It might be something different. But I'm going to use a real estate agent example here. So let's say I'm calling someone with an expired listing. All right. Now, these people are getting calls from agents all the time, right? So whoever you're working with, if they're getting calls all the time because they're on some list, just be aware they're getting called possibly multiple times a day. So with that being said, you're going to have to grab their attention in some way. Maybe that's through leaving the voicemail, because I don't know about you, but a lot of people have the phones with the text, voice-to-text voicemails. So make sure whatever voicemail you leave reads good on the voicemail script thing or voice-to-text thing. I recommend leaving voicemails, maybe not the first or second time. That's up to you. But I do recommend leaving voicemail at some point. A lot of people just call and never leave a voicemail. Too many people, too many salespeople, too many agents do that. So what you're really looking for is people who are interested now, okay? And so that's where you're going to want to leave the voicemail. And especially if you're consistently following up. Because if they get a voicemail from you every week, guess what? They're not getting a voicemail from everyone every week. So when you leave that voicemail, make sure you speak very clearly so that the voice recognition thing sounds out your name and your company name and all those things accurately. Hello, Bob. This is how you leave the voicemail. Hello, Bob. This is Wesley calling from ABC Realty. Very clear, right? I'm calling because blah, 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 blah. You have your script, Again, all sizzle, no steak. Same in the voicemail. Give them a reason to call you back. It has to be highly curiosity. And I'm just going to make stuff up right now. Ideally, these things will be real. But you might say something like, calling you because you submitted a home value request. There's something really inaccurate, grossly inaccurate here, and I just needed a couple more details from you to get you the more accurate version or the accurate value. Or maybe it's expired listing. Hi, Bob. This is Wesley. I'm calling because, I don't want to say I'm calling because, but whatever. I just want to let you know that there is an expired listing workshop going on online. I was going to send you the invite. All I need is your maybe your number or your email address. So I can send you the link, and it's basically why listings don't sell and the one thing owners could do about it to blah, 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 blah. I'm just making stuff up. The point is, no one else is offering a workshop. And even if that workshop is you just doing a Zoom meeting, showing up and they're the only ones there, that's fine, right? But maybe you get a few expired listings there and just have a little short 10-minute or 15-minute slide deck or some information, or maybe stats from your local board, or whatever you could do to share with them. The point is, you got to be creative. Every market's different. Every service, every product, every specialty is different. So I can't give you in this episode the exact thing. But what I want you to think about is just being more creative. What goes against what everyone else is doing, and how are you going to set yourself apart from the noise? All right, well, that is all the time I have. I've got my kid calling me in the back. I've got another meeting I'm going to attend to, and I hope that this stuff was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next episode of Follow Up Genius. Again, this is Wesley Rocha. For more information, to get updates on future episodes, go to followupgenius.net. And thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're listening, thank you. If you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook, thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Follow Up Genius Show. Get the show notes and discover our fantastic bonus member-only content when you become a Follow Up Genius member. Join today free at followupgenius.net. The Follow Up Genius Show is sponsored by LinkU.